Hi again, everybody. Welcome back to Enjoy English. I'm Bruce.
I'm Anthony.
Today, we have a lesson for you in the Origins section of your magazine. This lesson will be about the beginning of something because origin refers to the source or beginning of something. The adjective is quite common, actually, original. So from origin, we add an AL, and then the pronunciation changes to original.
没错，我们今天要介绍的这个追根究底的单元呢，你会注意到它的那个英文是 origins， 我们都会谈一些事物的起源。那 origin 这个字是名词嘛，重音在第一音节。如果把它变成形容词的话，在它后面加上 AL， 它就变成 original， 它的重音就从 origin 变成 original， 变成第二音节，这个地方要特别注意一下。那我们今天要介绍的主题呢是牙仙的魔法，各位可能有听过的 Tooth Fairy， 对吗？那到底这个牙仙的魔法，它最初的起源是什么地方呢？我们赶快来看一看咯。
Legends of the Tooth Fairy. The first time that a child loses a tooth can be a painful and horrible experience. In Western culture, parents have developed a creative way to turn this rite of passage into an exciting adventure. Typically, when children lose their tooth, they are told to put it under their pillow for the tooth fairy. In the morning, they wake up to find that the tooth has been replaced with money. In the past, Scandinavian culture had a similar tradition that had to do with children's teeth. Objects from children were believed to bring good luck in battle. Warriors would pay children a fee to collect their lost teeth and then make them into necklaces as a form of protection. In modern days, a specific description of the tooth fairy appeared in a newspaper article in 1908. The article suggested telling children that the tooth fairy would leave 5 cents for a lost tooth to make them less nervous about losing their teeth. To this day, the tooth fairy character is useful to both parents and dentists who can encourage children to maintain strong and healthy teeth. Some tell children that the tooth fairy pays more for a perfect tooth. Others may leave a note that praises the child for taking good care of their teeth.
So we'll be talking exactly about discover how lost teeth are celebrated in different cultures. Where do these stories come from? And of course, humanity, the human race, has so many different tribes or groups of people, and they have different ideas about things, especially the origins of things. Now, lost teeth doesn't mean, oh, where's my tooth? I can't find it. That's not the meaning. It means you had children's teeth, we call them baby teeth, and as you grow older, they fall out. That's natural. And then we call them lost teeth.
所以在这里的话，我们提到换牙这个概念哦。先注意一下，这个牙齿单数叫做 tooth， 然后复数叫做 teeth。那我们提到说乳牙 baby tooth、baby teeth， 那是指乳牙还没换牙6岁之前的那种牙齿嘛。到后来，如果说今天换了牙齿的时候，这些乳牙会掉，这些掉下来的乳牙呢，我们就叫做 lost teeth。这个 lost 有点像是形容词放在 teeth 的前面。你看到副标题这边写说 discover how lost teeth are celebrated in different cultures， 就是在各种不同文化里面，他们到底是如何庆祝掉牙这件事情的。
Okay, let's look at our first part, the first paragraph. The first time that a child loses a tooth can be a painful and horrible experience. We are naturally afraid of blood, and when you lose a tooth, almost always there's going to be some blood and certainly pain that goes with it. This is something we have to get used to because even babies have 20-something teeth, I think it is. So it happens quite a few times. But the first time, what's going on? Hey, that hurts. Hey, I'm bleeding.
没错，所以很多人我们天生小时候就是会怕血嘛，尤其是换牙的时候会掉啊，然后那个牙齿摇摇晃晃，然后甚至还会流血。其实很多小朋友都会很担心。所以你看第一段的第一句话提到说 ，The first time that a child loses a tooth， 是小朋友第一次掉牙的时候，好，这个过程整句话的主词就是这个，对不对 ？Can be a painful and horrible experience。Painful 就是很痛苦，然后在这里的话 ，pain 这个字再加上 ful， 让它这个字变成形容词，指的是痛苦的，很痛苦啦，又很可怕的这种经验。那像我的话，我自己小时候就超级害怕看牙医，每次看到这个东西，他说：“哎，这会不会痛？那会不会痛？”吓都吓死了。
Okay, continuing. In Western culture, parents have developed a creative way to turn this rite of passage into an exciting adventure. Well, that's a good idea because if you just let the child suffer in pain, oh, that's a pretty mean trick to play on a child. So they have come up with an idea to make the rite of passage. Rite is another word for ritual. R-I-T-U-A-L. R-I-T-U-A-L. That's something that we do in our culture whenever something happens. Say a simple one is to have a birthday cake with candles every time you add a year. It's a very simple thing, but we could call it a ritual of passage. The passage of time will create a special kind of activity for people to do to mark or celebrate that passing.
没错，在这里的话，我们看到一个重要的字词叫做 rite of passage。这个 rite 就是老师刚刚所讲的 ritual。ritual 有点像是仪式，比方说我们过生日的时候都会买一个蛋糕，上面插蜡烛，就是这个仪式嘛。所以这个 passage 指的是 the passage of time。每个这个成长过程当中都有一些重要的一些时刻，比方说像什么成年礼呀，或者是某些重要的时候，青春期啊，男生是变声啊等等，这些都是 rite of passage。所以他这边提到的是说 ，in Western culture， 在西方的文化里头 ，parents have developed， 这个很多的父母呢就开始发展出了一套 a creative way， 非常非常有创意的方式 ，to turn this rite of passage， 把这个一定会经历的重要的成长的过程呢 ，into an exciting adventure， 好，把它转变成非常非常让人兴奋的一种冒险。所以本来是一件很痛苦、很可怕的事情，如果把它转过来的时候，他会有小朋友会有很多正面的经验，跟正面的那种成长的那种感觉。
Typically, when children lose their tooth, they are told to put it under their pillow for the tooth fairy. Well, here comes this creative idea. There's not really a tooth fairy.
Oh,
don't tell anybody.
Uh-huh.But
usually or typically, what parents will do, because every child has to go through this experience, which means every parent has to go through this experience at the same time too. So they created this rite of passage so that even though this is going to hurt and there will be blood, there's something good that's going to come from this. And that is when the tooth does fall out, or you could pull it out if it's almost going to fall out.You put it under the child's pillow and they can sleep on it. And then the tooth fairy will come.
没错，所以这里的话就告诉你咯，这个 creative way 的到底实际的方法是什么 ？Typically， 通常呢 ，when children lose their tooth， 他一旦有小朋友掉了牙齿之后呢 ，they're told to put it under their pillow， 就把这个掉的牙齿怎么样放在枕头下面。For the tooth fairy， 然后等这个牙仙过来哦。所以在这里的话，就告诉他说：“哎，今天你如果掉牙齿的话，不要难过，不要伤心。哎，你有机会可以变得比较有钱哦。那个牙仙会拿钱来换这样子。”
Yeah, and make sure the child is old enough to appreciate money. But that's about the age, 2, 3, 4 years old. That's when your teeth start to fall out. Okay, finishing our first paragraph. In the morning,After going to bed and hearing about the tooth fairy, they wake up to find that the tooth has been replaced with money. How does that happen?
真太诡异了，为什么会这样呢？那个时候，这个父母应该偷偷摸摸的到房间里头去当这个牙仙的角色，对不对？所以在这边你看这句话说 ，In the morning， 到了白天起来之后呢 ，They wake up to find， 这个 they 指的当然是这些小朋友 children。Wake up to find， 醒来之后发现到 that the tooth has been replaced with money， 居然这个牙齿居然变成钱了，哦耶！很多时候搞不好他们很期待下一次的换牙又可以换到钱，真好。
In my case, it wasn't a good experience. I don't mean the pain, but when I found that I could get money for a tooth, I started to pull out my teeth.
所以老师，你看，马上就想到一个赚钱的方法。当初呢，在小的时候 ，Burce 老师还想说，居然牙齿可以换钱，那我开始想要办法，让这些牙齿都把它拿下来换钱。
I'm kidding.
脑动真快。
Okay, let's take a short break and then we'll continue. Okay, we're ready now for our second paragraph. In the past, Scandinavian culture had a similar tradition that had to do with children's teeth. As I said before, as we said before, we're going to look at different cultures, and different cultures are usually from different countries. We looked at what American parents do. Now we're going to Scandinavia, rather long word for one of the most beautiful areas of the world, if you like ocean, mountains, and snow, because this is Northern Europe, countries like Iceland, Sweden, Finland, Norway, Denmark. Those are the 5 Scandinavian countries.
OK， 我们来看第二段的第一句话，我们会看到这个地方 In the past, Scandinavian culture。所以这老师刚刚就有提到说，斯堪的纳维亚这个地方的文化呢，其实就是北欧的文化。那老师刚刚也把北欧的5国通通跟大家介绍了，他就提到了 Scandinavian culture， 这种斯堪的纳维亚文化，也就是北欧文化 had a similar tradition， 有着类似的这样子的传统 that had to do with children's teeth。它这个传统呢是跟儿童的牙齿有关的。
Objects from children were believed to bring good luck in battle. Unfortunately, the history of Scandinavia is, like many countries, unfortunately, full of wars, fighting, disagreements, and so on that are solved in violent ways. Well, take something bad like war, maybe we could find something good about the tooth fairy. Although they didn't have that idea of the fairy, they felt that these teeth could be saved and they would become valuable later, even better than money. You might have success if you're in battle, which means fighting in a war.
没错，所以在他们的文化里头，老师刚刚提到说呢，其实上他们这个文化里面充满了非常非常多的战争啊、杀戮啊等等不得已的这种过往。那在这边他这句话看到说 objects from children。Object 就是所有的那种 items， 所有任何跟孩童有关的一些物品啊，事实上怎么样 ？Were believed to bring good luck in battle。Battle 这个字就是战役。好，在战役里头，在打仗的过程当中呢，儿童相关的物品呢会带来好运。这个物品就是 objects。这个字注意一下，它有很多不同的发音方式。如果是名词的时候，它是 objects。objects 就是指这个物品。如果说今天有的时候你会听到 object 的时候是动词，就是反对什么什么东西。好，那这个特别注意一下。所以这句话就告诉你说，他们相信儿童物品可以为在战场上头为自己带来好运。
Warriors would pay children a fee to collect their lost teeth and then make them into necklaces as a form of protection.Well, you could probably guess, even if you never saw this word before, warriors are people who fight in a war. So the people who are protecting themselves and their own people from another group of people, they are warriors. And in Scandinavia, warriors would buy or pay for the children's teeth.And it was believed that, I don't know what the connection is or why they thought this way, but these teeth would have a certain power. maybe because they come from young people, the children, they have some special kind of power, whatever. They would make a necklace with the children's teeth, and they believed that would help protect them.
Yeah， 所以在这里的话，会告诉你很多的细节哦。Warriors 当然指的就是指战士 ，would pay children a fee。fee 这边指的话就是费用，就是 money 的意思。Will pay children money to collect their lost teeth， 去收集这些小朋友他们掉下来的乳牙。And then make them into necklaces， 然后把这些乳牙串起来变成项链一样的 ，as a form of protection。好 ，a form of protection 就是作为一种保护的形式。其实在这里的话，就是指当成一种护身符，可能它里面包含了一种这种再生青春的力量，可以让你在战场上的时候，可能想到自己的孩子，哇，更努力杀敌这样。
In modern days, now we're not in Scandinavia, and we are not centuries ago either. A specific description of the tooth fairy appeared in a newspaper article in 1908, so 115 or 120 years ago or so. Suddenly, the term tooth fairy became published, and it seems to suggest that that was the beginning in the United States, anyway, of this idea of the tooth fairy who gives money for, who changes your lost tooth for money.Yeah，
所以这边这句话告诉你说 ，in modern days， 好，到了现代呢 ，a specific description， 这个 description 的意思就是 describe 这个动词转换成了名词 description。describe 是描述的意思，那 specific 就是很明确的一种描述。好 ，a specific description of the tooth fairy， 好，对于牙仙这样子的一个角色的描述呢，很清楚。Appeared in a newspaper article， 居然出现在报纸里头，然后时间呢是在1908年的时候，开始第一次，老师刚刚提到说，在美国的报纸上面，然后有提到牙仙是长怎样的这样的一个描述。
The article suggested telling children that the tooth fairy would leave 5 cents for a lost tooth to make them less nervous about losing their teeth.So someone with a kind heart wrote an article about the tooth fairy. That was news, and no one had thought of this before. The person wanted to help children get over this difficult experience, and he suggested for each tooth that the child would lose, they could get 5 cents.Today, kids wouldn't do it for $5.
No, considering the inflation, right?
At least 100 times.
Yeah, 没有错哈。所以在这里的话呢，我们就提到了这个 the article suggested。好，这个地方就是这篇文章建议这些各位父母呢 ，telling children that 好，告诉这些小朋友说 the tooth fairy 好，牙仙呢 would leave 5 cents for a lost tooth。好，他说，今天如果你有一颗牙齿掉下来的话，他会拿5美分的这个美金去跟你换这个牙齿 ，to make them less nervous about losing their teeth。好，他这样的话，小朋友就不会太紧张，太过的紧张 ，nervous。好，这个字是紧张的意思。对于掉牙这件事就不会太紧张。我刚刚跟Burce嫂在开玩笑，然后老师刚刚提到说，哇，现在留5美分，留5块钱，他未必都愿意呢。我说对啊，要考量通货膨胀的问题嘛。所以在这里就开始讲一些有趣的话题。在这里这句话，他就告诉你说，用这种方式告诉小朋友说，掉牙不用担心，有人呢，这个牙仙呢会拿钱来跟你换你的牙齿哦。
Okay, let's take another short break and we'll finish today's article. Okay, let's continue and finish our article for today. To this day, the tooth fairy character is useful to both parents and dentists who can encourage children to maintain strong and healthy teeth.So this is not just a fairy tale about the tooth fairy, and it's not only a benefit, a child gets a little bit of money, it will encourage children to pay more attention to their teeth, to brush them, to rinse, and take better care of them, and that will make both parents and dentists tooth doctor is a dentist. It will make their lives easier too, because children won't always be nervous and crying whenever they're going to lose a tooth.
没错，真的是这样。小时候我最怕就是看牙医了，对不对？所以这一段以后告诉你说，其实事实上有一个牙仙这样的故事的话，可以帮助小朋友降低他们的焦虑，然后也让父母啊，还有牙医比较好做事。你看这一段的第一句话啊，说 To this day， 直到今天呢 ，the tooth fairy character 就是牙仙这样的角色 is useful to both parents and dentists。好，不管是对父母来讲，或是对牙医来讲，都是非常有用的。好 ，who can encourage children？ 好，不管是牙医啊还是父母，都能够去鼓励孩子 to maintain strong and healthy teeth， 可以鼓励他们说，要记得勤刷牙啊，不要吃太多甜食啊，要保持你牙齿的很健康啊，非常非常强壮的牙齿这样子。
Some tell children that the tooth fairy pays more for a perfect tooth. Why would you do that? Because then the child will take better care of its own teeth. Maybe they're not perfect, but a child doesn't really know what a perfect tooth looks like or even feels like, but it sounds good, and they'll pay more attention, which is good for the health of their teeth.
所以说今天有不同的方法来跟他讲。好，有一些人呢，有一些父母 ，some tell children， 好，会告诉他说什么 ？That the tooth fairy pays more for perfect tooth。如果说你牙齿维系的非常非常健康，好，掉下来的时候，都没有蛀，都没有动，对不对？那个话你会换到比较多的钱，牙仙比较愿意说，这个牙齿好，我决定拿10美分来跟你换，好，或者是 a quarter， 用这种方式去来让小朋友说，好，那我要好好刷牙。
Others, notice our last sentence was some tell children. That refers to some parents. Well, others is the same, but it's other people, other parents may leave a note. They'll write a little note and put it under the pillow. And it's from the tooth fairy, ha ha ha. And it praises the child for taking good care of their teeth. So this is another encouragement for small children who will believe almost anything, that their losing of teeth doesn't have to be a horrible experience.
没错，所以在这里的话，要特别注意一下这边的 others 跟前一句话的 some， 有些人怎么样，而另外一些人怎么样，我们常常会用 some 等等等等，然后 others 这样的表达方式。所以他说 others may leave a note， 好，其他的一些人呢，其他这些父母呢，也许会留下一张纸条，然后上面写什么呢 ？That praises the child， 好，来赞美这个小朋友。For 因为做了什么事情来赞美他嘛 ？For taking good care of their teeth。你真的牙齿保养的好赞哦！牙仙觉得你真棒，这时候牙仙就给你一个鼓励，精神上的鼓励。
So today we looked at American and Scandinavian tooth fairies, stories about them. And tomorrow we'll continue and talk about other areas of the world which also share this tradition. Until then, bye-bye.